trying to come up with things I might talk to you about or ask you about, and the first thing that occurred to me, which I knew going into the interview already, was that you do so much. Like the amount of work you put out is phenomenal, and it's across a handful of mediums. I really think that's interesting. You do murals, and I know you're a maker too. You do all these cool stuff with wood and etching and stuff like that, and 3D printing too, right? You've done stuff with.
So it's not 3D printer. It's a laser printer.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I don't know. It calls itself a 3D printer, but I don't really believe it is.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. The verdict's still out on. Yeah. So yeah, you just I know that you paint too, right? Like there's a so just there's so many things you do. I was curious. Which one came first? Like out of all the different mediums that you work with, that you've come to work with, what got you started out?
Painting, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. My father and grandfather were both sign painters and pinstripers.
Nice.
So,
okay.
Yeah, spent a lot of summers in the garage,
Wow.
watching them paint motorcycles and cars, or going with them to do Burger King windows, that kind of stuff.
At what point did that become did your interest in it become a little less practical and a little bit more artistic? So did you start doing painting on your own, just to express creativity or ideas or?
I think that came from my mom's encouragement.
Okay.
Because she would take me to all the moms, because we grew up in a rural area, and so all the moms would get together and teach us different crafts and baking and
That's awesome.
gardening, and they each had kind of their little expertise.
Yeah.
So some of them would teach us how to sew and crochet and paint, and as more of an artistic thing than work.
Right. Yeah. Which they're both interesting in their own right, but I've noticed artists tend to lean really hard towards one or the other, and that's why I think it's so neat to watch what you're doing, because it's it's artistic, but it's also very practical in a lot of different ways. A lot of things you do, and I was curious. That makes a lot of sense now that you mentioned that. I was like, oh, well, that background. It's no wonder that you've kind of kept that kind of that work ethic and that sense of practicality about all the art that you create. And it's very interesting about that communal kind of skill sharing situation you're talking about. I think that's amazing, because that's another thing I was curious about is kind of what inspired you to. I know you do a lot of other things, but just specifically this space, creating doing these themed galleries and stuff like that, and really making a communal art space available to a lot of people that. If I understand it correctly, might not have normally had access to having their work showcased in a gallery. I know there's it's not, not just anybody can just walk up off the street and be like, hey, check this out, and have a showing, anywhere. But here, in a very real sense, that they can, you're keeping an eye out for submissions.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
I think, the group shows, everybody's welcome. We don't ever turn anybody down.
Wow,
And then with the solo shows, it's kind of if you keep entering the group shows, and then we see you're getting a following and you're developing something where you could do a full show by yourself, then you usually end up getting an invite. Or if you're just a homie that I've been, that I admire, that I would like to see your artwork in the space, then
no, we share a handful of the same friends. That's why I've been so excited. You've had so many amazing artists already come through. What sort of themes have you done? So I was wondering, I feel like I didn't take notice of when you started doing that. It was just kind of I don't know if you've been doing that for a handful of years now, or.
So the two that are reoccurring are the Halloween and the lowrider themes.
Yeah.
And then other than that, it's just you're kind of sitting there and you're like, oh, it'd be funny if we did a Rihanna show. Everybody painted Rihanna.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah, just that kind of stuff. Or then last time, because I was coming up with themes on my own, and then I was like, you know what, people might want to decide. So we did a vote, and the teeny tiny one won first place. So that was the first one.
Cool. Yeah.
And then this one, the Studio Ghibli, and then next will be the Sanrio, and then I don't know, just keep thinking of, sometimes you're just sitting there and somebody says something and you're like, oh, that'd be a funny art show. We should do that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's how a good bit of them come about. And then I noticed that you've been doing T-shirts, kind of commemorate the event, which I think is awesome. It adds this kind of sense of collectability, I guess, to the entire event. And I was going to ask when you mentioned again, that community of sharing skill sets. Do you feel like that inspired you in any way to kind of do what you're doing now, to kind of be, create a space where multiple people can kind of come and show one another what they're all up to, and what drives them, what kind of makes them feel passionate?
Yeah, definitely. Because, like I said, like we had no like arts programming growing up in school. So it was like learn, like you said, like the technical stuff. And then other than that, it was like up to parents to teach, or for community to teach.
Yeah.
So we just go to different people's houses and like learn. And so that's why like I open the space up when people want to teach a workshop or they want to share their talent. Then if it's my day off and I don't got nothing to do, I'm down.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have plans, like it's pretty much like an open, it's like the space for everybody to use.
You mentioned that it's not just visual artists, but you've had musicians and poets and pop-up vendors. Another one of my friends is going to be here tonight. Joe's going to be here.
Yeah.
Doing his coffee pop-up with Anita and yeah. So what sort of vendors have you had come through? Like what sort of artists? You mentioned poetry. I've seen you've had that a few times, right? Like specific poets kind of come and highlighting kind of what they do, have a talk.
Yeah, it was we've had like Existir, which is all female led zine, and it's all like Central Valley poets, but it's not just poetry, it's also artwork, stories, recipes, like pretty much just Central Valley life.
Yeah.
So they've done their readings in here. We had a political poet, Matt Cedillo. We had like some creative writing workshops in here. And then we like to host Avenue One band. They're really cool.
No, that's awesome. And you've had MCs in here too, right? I thought I saw.
Yeah, we had a bunch of rappers, like young rappers, hip hop artists from here. They did like a Christmas toy drive in here and had a concert at the same time.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So it's not just an art, visual medium venue. You host all kinds of things here. Oh yeah,
definitely. Music, documentary screenings. I'm down for everything.
Is the zine still going? I'm sorry, you just mentioned it.
The Existed?
Yeah.
They're working on their 5th volume right now.
Nice. So I think I'm caught up. I think I remember I had gotten a bundle to get me started out with that you had, and then I think I grabbed that last one. You do a bit of design work too, right? So I've seen a lot of the items you have around here. It's not just like you mentioned, like a laser etching. Like you actually create little practical items for around the house and stuff like that too, and decorative items and whatnot too. How do you feel like the creative process? How does it shift, or how does it feel? When you're creating items or building items, as opposed to when it's purely just you and an empty canvas and you're getting lost.
Yeah. Well, I think my main mission with like the graphic design stuff for inside this space anyways, or actually for anybody who asks me to like design something for them, is like I want to make people feel proud of being from here.
Yeah.
And so that's like why I push so hard like this like 209 stuff.
Yeah. Stuff that's specifically about our culture, which is awesome that you're highlighting that. Yeah.
Yeah, you go to other cities and there's like all these I Love San Francisco shirts, and I'm like, yo, what's up? How come we don't got nothing for Merced? You know, like, so I don't know. I want people to be proud of being from here and like represent. And
because there is a lot that goes on, right? So
there's a ton. There's like 5 things going on tonight.
So is there any project, anything you wanted to kind of discuss before we close it out?
Well, I mean, I'm waiting on this contract to be done to do the skate park at Applegate, like a mural. Yeah, so it's I think it's like, I want to say 100 feet, but I might be overestimating. It might be like 80, but.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I'm excited for that because we're going to some of my friends are going to come down and paint, and
Yeah.
then we're going to have a little celebration afterwards, and we're hooking up with the BIS, and so it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been wanting to visit that new skate shop as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you should go down there.
Yeah. It surprises me to when I talk about what you do and people aren't aware that this is happening, and it's like, dude, this is the sort of thing we should be supporting and preserving, you know, as much as possible, because there's not a lot of creative outlets really for anybody, you know.
Yeah.
You know, even me that's playing in bands all the time and stuff like that, it's like, well, there's only a handful of spots you might be able to stop around here, you know, and it's and not too often, you know. So it's incredible that something like this is happening, and I really hope. Well, tonight I have a feeling there's gonna be a ton of people to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's probably gonna
People
be a
are
big one.
pumped.
Yeah. Oh, that's another question I had. I saw you mentioned, and it might just be something you just threw in the caption, but you had mentioned, you know, having the DJ and hanging out and dancing a little bit. I thought that was cool because it kind of takes away from, you know, the somewhat clinical feeling, you know, art gallery can have sometimes when it's, you know, just completely quiet and very introspective, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, she's gonna have a DJ, and you know,
I want it to feel like a family barbecue in here.
Yes,
you know, like
yeah.
you know, like people are so scared to go places with their kids because they're gonna break something.
Oh yeah.
And so we just fill the place with toys.
Yeah, yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
No, that's really cool. No, awesome. Yeah, so I had a feeling it felt like you were definitely kind of just leaning into that energy, which is awesome because, you know, every time I've come out here, I end up running into my friends and hanging out and talking, and hopefully at some point talking about the art pieces. Like, you know, it's one of my favorite things to do is kind of talk to friends about what they see in different people's art and whatnot. So yeah, man, this has been awesome. I'm glad I finally got to talk to you. I know we had talked about it last time, but so I've been keeping a left eye out for whenever, you know, see what, you know, what a sort of event you might be doing, because, you know, it's really fun to kind of capture the energy of, you know, right before, you know, everybody comes in and makes it an awesome night. So how long is this going to be showing?
This will be up for a month. Yeah.
Awesome.
So every month we switch out to a new exhibit.
I didn't realize it was a whole month. That's awesome. But either way, I'm going to try to have it out fast. I did it with A too. And you try to get it out fast. We'll try to get people as much foot traffic as we can get in here, check out these amazing art pieces. I like that you had mentioned earlier, it was like creating like a dream bedroom, you know?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind sleeping in here. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, no, I totally get that feeling in here. It's amazing. Very, very, very cool exhibit this time.
Thank you.
So where can people find out about the events that are going on and more about your artwork and maybe some of the murals that you're doing?
So I feel like the best thing is probably Instagram, just because that's what I feel like I'm best at that.
Yeah, me too.
At that platform.
One too, yeah.
Facebook, I'm not very good at.
Yeah.
I don't even have any friends.
Same.
And I have a website, it's KreepyKawaiiDesigns.com. So that's more of a like structured kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you're just going for one.
You have a lot of pictures of your murals on there. I saw that. I was checking that out earlier. I communicate with you on Instagram, but went ahead and checked out your website today, and I thought that was really cool. I was kind of going through and got stuck on that for a second. I'm supposed to be coming up with questions. I'm sitting here checking out all the murals that you've done. Most of them I'd seen, but not all of them. And before we head out, I'd like to acknowledge that too. All the incredible work you do around here with the community, creating beautiful pieces.
Thank you.
Even when you're not creating them, I know you usually have a hand in it somewhere. In supporting what's going on around here. And anyone that lives here has undoubtedly seen at least a couple of your pieces. So
I hope so.
Yeah,
or they don't leave the house.
Yeah. So yeah, that's incredible. I'm thankful I had a little bit of time to kind of highlight what it is you're doing here and some of the stuff you got coming up. And awesome. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out and talking.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll see you later today.
Yeah.